Welcome, team, to episode 10 of the KG podcast, Athletes Shine a Light on Mental Health. My name is Luke, and I'm here with Pat O'Malley. What's going on, Pat?
Luke, I'm blessed. I'm out here in Florida, lovely Florida. I've been out here for a bachelor party with one of my best friends in the whole world. And now I'm with my sister out in Punta Gorda, Florida, and her boyfriend. So shout them out, and I'm enjoying the weather. Luke, how about
Punta
yourself?
Gorda, Punta Gorda. I didn't know you were just getting to see the fam out there. That's sweet.
Yeah, man, full circuit out here. It's been great.
Sweet. Yeah, it's been good for me too. We had Thursday and Friday off of school impromptu because we had a bunch of kids out, a bunch of teachers out. So I got a little 2-day vacation in the middle of the week. Now I graded papers and stuff, but
I mean, hey, you're a grinder. That's why.
I'm working on that.
How are you feeling though?
Dude, I feel good. I had a little cough last week, but I'm working through it and just hydrating.
Good, man. Well, the hair looks great. Super excited for the episode today. Let's walk through a couple things early on here. Just want to make sure we shout out CNC from last week's episode. Luke, if you haven't listened yet, to our listeners, Luke, she brought the energy.
Oh yeah, 100%. Talking through her life, and hockey people, they have to have energy. It's quick shifts, 2 minutes on, 2 minutes out. It's craziness. So she definitely embodies that.
Yeah, I have to shout out her network too. We're up close to 1,500 followers on Instagram. If you haven't followed along already at the KG podcast, we're here. We're here to impact one life at a time. And if you have friends or family that can get some value out of this, share the pod. We love you guys. We'd be nothing without our followers and our guests. And Luke, speaking of that, tell them how we're not specialists.
Yeah, man, we're not psychiatrists, not psychologists. We're just a couple ex-athletes looking to do our part, make an impact one person at a time. I met a bunch of psychologists this past Friday, and let me tell you, they're smarter than us. They're great people. They're smarter than us, and we appreciate them and the work they do with athletes and the work they do with people as well.
Yeah, once again, they're definitely a lot smarter than us. So remember that. We're just here as former athletes to help shine the light. So awesome. So Luke, on that train of thought, what'd you do this week mental health wise, man?
Dude, I'm super fired up on this. I started making homemade pasta.
Oh, here we go. Bring it on.
Yes, dude. Let me get the recipe. 2 3/4 cup of flour, a little bit of salt, 3/4 a teaspoon of salt, and 4 eggs, and you got some pasta in about 2 hours. So
So are you putting this in the show notes, or are you just gonna sandbag it? What do you think?
I'll probably sandbag it, but no, man, it's unreal. It's just a super fun process to do. I've not been a great cook my whole life. I got in a YouTube rabbit hole just like everybody else does, and saw some Michelin star restaurants. One of them was Italian, and I said, okay, I've got to at least try and make my own pasta. And I've enjoyed the process. It's been a time to kind of reconnect with myself, and it's been good.
No doubt. And if any listeners know who I live with, Ned Colleran, got to shout him out.
Yep.
Big time cook, loves food, definitely a foodie. He's someone that I've, listened into a couple of things like this. And I'm not that big of someone in the kitchen that cooks, but anything that can help my overall dining game, I'm all for. So
yeah,
Luke, great stuff. Hopefully you'll share some more recipes in the future. I guess with mine, I already touched on it. I'm out here in beautiful Florida. I'm trying to not only keep my routines, but also have a balance. On that same train of thought, we have Marco joining us today. And, he's actually my chiropractor, former D3 soccer player. And it's going to be weird not going in there for a couple of weeks. So without further ado, Marco, how are we doing this afternoon?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
Everything's good, man.
Go ahead and throw your video on if you'd like.
You stop.
Welcome to the stream.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Marco, what's up? Live in the booth. What's up?
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Seriously.
Mixing it up. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Marco, obviously listening to our segment here, it's what you've done this week for your mental health. Anything that comes to mind for you?
Something that's a part of my routine is actually I've been doing the Bible in a year right now. So every morning I wake up, I read the Bible. And secondly, for overall about mental health, I guess getting a puppy is a big deal. So
Yeah, we're a big pro puppies.
I don't know if it's making
Yeah.
me crazy or making
Yeah.
me happy. I don't know which way to go with that, but
That's that. Talk about a balance, right? Talk about a balance.
exactly. But an absolute blessing.
Well,
Yeah, I
Marco,
love that, man.
You'll notice too, we shout out everybody on this pod. So tell me a little bit more about the puppy for the listeners.
Oh, little Louie. He's a golden retriever. He's about 2.5 months, and he's just full of energy.
You didn't say he was a golden retriever. Now I'm worried about you. I'm gonna be texting you at like 4 a.m. Be like, hey, I know you've been up for 2 hours. What's going on?
Yeah. You know
Well,
what?
go ahead.
My wife is the champ because you know, I know I'm going to the office almost every day, and she's able to work from home with the dog too. It's just
Yeah.
she's absolutely another blessing who just takes on all this loads of work and stuff. So she deserves all the credit for this, for how great this puppy is so far.
Hey, I'm sure we'll shout this out later, but the chiropractic life, you're starting to, I saw the video with your buddy. I can't remember his name, the guy you're working with, but what's the new business like? What's the new business life like? Hours are crazy or what?
I mean, yes and no. I got about a 25-minute drive into work.
Okay.
And on that drive is when I'm doing a lot of my research, just listening to podcasts, videos, and then I get to work around 8:45. And we start our day at 9 o'clock, and then we basically go from 9 to 7, and then I get home later. So
Crushing it, man.
It's a fast day. It's not a long day. It's a fast day because everything, Pat, you know, it's very high paced at our clinic, and it's fun, it's vibrant, and everyone's laughing and smiling. So there's never a dull, boring moment. So it's a great time.
For sure. And I know, Marco, having you on, obviously, for the 10th straight episode, you've never met Luke before. And I'm fired up for this one because you guys being D3 guys like myself and also soccer players, this is going to vibe and gel very well. We're already going through questions we didn't even ask yet. That's good. It's a good sign.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So, Marco, tell me a little bit about the early years. I know you grew up twin brother. You come from an amazing family, awesome dad, Italian family. Tell me about early years of not only soccer, but your family life.
Well, first things first, I'll talk about my family. I come from a big family. I got four siblings. I have a older sister, older brother, then it's me and my twin, and then a younger sister. And actually, a big part of my life is my older brother. He's severely autistic, from the point where, he can't really feed himself and clean himself. So, growing up, all of us had to take a very big step to maturing and taking care of another person. But you look back on it, my brother changed my life. But you know what? Living with a big family is a loud house. It's fun, and we argue a lot. It's great. It's great. And Italians are always loud.
No, not the Italian family argument. I don't believe it.
I had no idea what he was talking about. Can you fill me in on that or what?
Yeah.
Oh
man. Hey, you got to seen the Nicky Cass guy. Tell me you have, Marco.
Oh, Nicky, yeah, he's hilarious.
Okay, at least you've seen him. I'm glad you've seen him. I'm glad you've seen him.
His mic'd up golf videos are hilarious.
Oh, I know. He's
I'm telling you, with Nicky Cass, Luke tells me every other week, we got to get this guy on. And I'm like, dude, hey, if anyone's going to get Nicky Cass on, it's going to be Luke. So we're going to hold our breath in 2023 and see if we can get him on here. So, Luke, I'm putting a lot of eggs in your basket, my man.
Hopefully he respects that I've been following him from the jump, and then he'll want to throw us a bone or something.
For sure. Well, Marco, awesome stuff. I love that. We're both big family guys ourselves. Both have siblings, great moms and dads spread out, grandparents as well. I got to shout that out, Jim out too. How about the soccer side? You obviously go into high school. You're playing at a club level. You're playing good soccer. When did you know, hey, wow, I can play this game in college and as long as I can?
Probably around my junior year. So, one thing is I do have my twin brother. The best thing ever is having a teammate your whole life through everything, every sport.
Preach.
Yeah. And now we work chiropractic together, which is the coolest thing in the world. And I wish he could have been here today talking, but yeah, about my junior years when I really said I switched to a different soccer club, and the coaches were like, you could play college. You know, it really never crossed my mind. They're like, you can play college. There's lots of people that can play college. You just got to get out there and get noticed. So, actually, that's when I signed up for NCSA.
Shout out NCSA.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. I'm not going to say a word.
Yeah. And
I'll shout him out. Pat does good work with them boys. I've heard a couple calls he has with them. He tries to lead them in the right direction. So check out NCSA.
Thank you.
No, it really is great. I mean, even especially like if you don't have the exposure that you want, it's really great. But yeah, junior year. So a little bit of my high school career. So my junior year, I played freshman B soccer. I played for the sophomore team, sat on the bench. I played junior year. I tried out for varsity, did not make it, so I went and played for JV. And then senior year, I went to try out for varsity, didn't make it again. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to even play JV. I'm just going to play some side stuff and just play with, hopefully, in my opinion, higher level things. And me and my brother ended up being 2 out of 4 guys out of the whole soccer program that went on to play college soccer, and we didn't even play on the varsity team.
Wow.
So,
Luke, stay with that. I know you got.
No, yeah.
What's that?
That's insane.
Yeah,
the club
Luke,
system is the club system's a grind in the US. Where'd you grow up at, Marco?
Burr Ridge, Illinois.
Okay, so in Illinois, is it a big city, small city? What's that like?
It's a small village by a bunch of other. So it's like it's the southwest suburbs of Chicago. So
okay, I got you. So
that's
where the difference for me comes in. Me and Pat have talked about this before, but I'm coming from a really small town in Eastern Kentucky where the club scene wasn't that big of a thing for me. I played in middle school and then I think freshman and sophomore, but the nearest club was like an hour and a half. So just seeing the different pathways people take to college is interesting, and the recruiting they have. But knowing you wanted to play from junior year, what position did you play in soccer?
Well, everything. So I started off playing like outside mid, and then when I went to college as an outside mid, and then ended up being shifted to like outside back, and yeah.
So how was that transition for you? You know, you weren't playing for your high school team; you were playing club before. Whenever you got to Aurora University, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that transition like into the college years?
It's a tough transition. I mean, you're playing with like it's not boys anymore, it's men. You're playing with men now, and especially in America, like size is a big thing. American soccer. So you're playing against huge guys that aren't afraid to just take you down, no problem. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's a little scary at some points too, because you're a freshman, you're walking onto a team of 40 guys. It's like, oh, well, you don't know what to expect. So
yeah, you're trying to find that spot in the lineup or find a spot, maybe not even on the field, but off the field where you can impact the team, and that's always the difficult thing. Yeah.
No, I agree. Marco, stay with this though. I mean, like you said, you were a guy that you always had your best friend with you. You had your brother, you had your twin brother throughout. I can relate, as you know. My brother was a year younger than me. We played sports all the way up. But it's also a struggle. And I want to stay on the mental health aspects here with when you're not getting on the field, you're not getting on the pitch, I should say, not trying to get my soccer lingo up just for you. When you're not getting on the field, right? You're not getting those college looks at first. You ever look at your brother like, are we doing something wrong? Or did you kind of rely on your circle? Walk me through those years before you got to college.
You know what? We never really looked at each other saying, are we doing something wrong? It's more like we're just not there yet. So it's the idea of we just got to, every day, that's the best thing ever. It's like I had someone to train with every day. Someone going, hey, I can do that better. And then I go, no, I can do that better. And we just keep pushing each other. So it's never really something wrong. You're just not there yet. And it's if you stop, then that's on you. But if you keep going, you're again, and that's where like when we didn't make varsity in high school, it's like, yeah, we were bummed out, but you can either, hopefully this doesn't sound too mean, but you can go sit and cry about it, or you can find your opportunities to go, this is how I'm going to get to where I'm going to, you know what, my path just changed. Here's how I'm going to go now.
Oh man, run that back. Here's why. Wow, run that back.
You know what though? And I'll be honest with you, like, glory to God for all this. Cause I mean, on that journey, we met a gentleman, his name, we call him Coach Peter. He's a soccer guru from Croatia. And you may know this team, Freiburg in Germany.
Yeah.
He played for Freiburg in Germany. So way back in the day, but we met him at a coffee shop, and my mom met him at a coffee shop. My mom gave me a call and goes, Sonny Marco, show up at the field in 20 minutes. Be there or don't. And my mom was my mom was the biggest. If it wasn't for her, I would not play college. I'm just leave it at that. But,
me too.
Just, you know, this one sad moment turned into a bunch of people coming and going, we're going to get you there. It was just a cool thing to see.
Yeah. And that, I want to touch on something.
Leaning on your support group, Luke. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, 100%. I want to touch on something though that you said earlier that you said may sound a little bit mean. Look, if sports aren't for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're passionate about it and that's what makes you happy, failure is not always a bad thing. Struggle is not always a bad thing. When we struggle, we learn how to get better at things. Right. So giving up in that moment would have been a terrible thing for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, it led you to relationships you still have to this day. And you know, I just wanted to point out that failure is not always a bad thing. It can be a springboard into something better.
And that actually segues into something. Do you mind if I jump into my college career a little bit?
Oh, do it.
Dude,
do it.
We're going right in order, man. Go ahead.
Yes,
so
sir.
Freshman year, I think I played a total of 7 minutes. Sophomore year, I think I played a total of 11 minutes. And then talk about failure. I actually got cut after my sophomore year. Not just me. My brother got cut too. I got to give him a shout out. Good job, son.
Yeah. Make sure we know that.
but you know what? Talk about, you know, not making varsity in high school is one thing, but getting cut from your team in college is another. And yeah, that was hard on the mind. And the first thing I did, I don't know what my brother did when he stepped out of the room. But when I stepped out of the room, my first thing I did was like, I looked up and I go, God, I know you have a plan. And I trusted it, and just do what you got to do. And the next week we emailed the coach saying we want to try out again, and he had us try out again. So for our junior year, and we still didn't make the team. And I don't want to make any excuses. You know what? If I just wasn't good enough, I wasn't good enough. But that experience made me who I am for my chiropractic career.
Yes.
Stay here. That is fantastic stuff. And that's fantastic perspective. And with your faith, with your family background, with your friends, that perspective is something that was beyond your years. Luke, I'm going to be honest with you. That was beyond your years.
Dude, if I got cut from a team, I would have just been crushed. Like I wouldn't have had that kind of fallback point. And that, like Pat said, that's mature beyond your years for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. So Marco, let's transition to what you're doing now, right?
Okay.
At this point in time, you get cut. You and your brother both get cut. You try out again. You don't make it. You still know that you need to finish your education, because soccer has always been tied with what you're looking to do. How was that transition? How to get you to where you're at now in your career?
You know, it's more about, I didn't stop playing. You know, I was playing some it was high level soccer with guys ages from 35 to 19, 18 years old. So I was playing some leagues like that. But, you know, I just knew that you can't keep forcing a plan that God doesn't have for you. And you kind of just got to let go and just like let him guide you. Let the wind push you in a little bit and in a direction. So with that being said, I go, I'm going to finish school, and no ifs, ands, or buts, I'm starting chiropractic school right away. And funny story, I missed my first week of chiropractic school. I tore my ACL playing soccer in a league before, and I had to get surgery. So I missed my first week of chiropractic school.
That's brutal.
But you know what? That was like my last wake-up call, saying, hey, God's saying you need to focus on chiropractic, because this is where you're going to change all the lives. This is where you're going to make a major difference, and this is where we need God. Where God said, this is where I need you. So,
wow. And this is why, Marco, prime example of why we have a guy like you on, because you go through this, the adversity on the field, off the field, the injury stuff, people telling you constantly that you're not good enough to do
Yeah.
this, to play at that level. And then look at all the impact you have on not only athletes, but people now.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, Luke, anything to add on that?
No, 100%. I just think you found out what your gift was and how you could impact the world, which is kind of what everybody learns through sports, right?
Yeah.
Whether the sport is the thing for them or not, that's kind of what sports leads you to, how to lead people, how to bring people along with you for better. So that's awesome, man.
Marco, we've touched on this and we're dancing all around it right now. At this point in time, I've met you. I've gone through a year with you over at the TLC clinic, everything that you guys do. You guys are fantastic. It's truly a family feel, but it never really, like, how do I put it? It hasn't always been like this. You went through a lot of adversity in your household, in your soccer career. Give me your keep going moment.
You know, it's never one moment. You know, like I know you might hear that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, the keep going moment is, you know, when I didn't make varsity, my mom said, keep playing, keep doing this. My brother and I were like, we got to go to college. When we got cut in college, my brother and I, my mom, our family, our friends are like, just keep doing what you're doing. You know, we were playing soccer more, and then tear my ACL, and I'm going to chiropractic school. My dad, and I'm first year chiropractic school is ridiculously hard. You're taking like 36 credit hours of classes, so it's insanely loaded up. And you know, you sit at the end of your bed and you're just going, what am I crazy? Like, what am I doing right now? Trying to be in this profession. And then, you know, I got my brother, I got my dad, you know, the guru, who goes, I was
Legend, by the way. Shout out the pops.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
And you know, he goes, I was there too. Just keep going. I'm telling you, you're going to be fine. And it's that constant reminder that you're going to be fine no matter where life takes you. And you got to just keep going. Like you said, you got to keep going. And if you you know, dwell on the failures, you're not going to go anywhere, you know? So, and actually I love doing this talking with you guys right now, because I never really thought about all this until right now. Like, wow, if I sat on those failures, I would not be where I'm at.
Yeah.
I got chills running through my body, Marco. I'm not gonna lie.
That's just the kind of perspective we're trying to give to student athletes now, so that they don't feel so beaten down or so, you know, just downtrodden about some things they're going through. So we appreciate you sharing that story, man.
No, Luke, you hit the nail on the head. It's gonna get better. Just keep showing up.
Yeah.
Keep the faith. Keep your higher power. Keep your people with you. It's gonna get better. And now, I look at you, Marco, now, and you shine the light on so many people in your profession, and all of our listeners, no matter if they're athletes or employees or whatever they're doing, that's super powerful, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how you're so vulnerable, how you just opened up and said, I've never really talked about this. I've never really thought about it.
Yeah.
How great does that make you feel, man? It's amazing.
It feels great. No, but it's thanks to you guys. You guys are opening me up.
No,
hey, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people to go that extra inch, that extra mile, you know.
God, that's so valuable. So student athletes, especially, run that last 2 minutes back. That's amazing perspective, authenticity. It's genuine, and oh man, awesome. All right, let's keep going. I want to be conscious of your time, Marco, as well at the end here. But tell me a little bit about TLC. You know, obviously in Norwich, you guys have a couple locations. Talk about what you're doing now, and tell these folks how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, plug yourself. Yep, let's go.
So first things first, how we started back in 1983, my dad opened up a practice, and
of course he did.
Talk about, you know, and he actually just shared a story with me. He goes, you know, I was a guy that no one ever wanted to hire, and now he has 2, you know, great practices, 6 doctors working together to help change lives. And we are a chiropractic clinic. That's what we do, chiropractic. And it's about health. A lot of people focus on back and neck pain. Yes, we help with that all the time. But it's about, you know, new studies show that there's a 70% increase in refills on Lexapro, which is a anxiety, depressant, antidepressant drugs. So, people's mental health, people's, things they're struggling with, comes from the nervous system. And that's what we work with. We work with the nervous system and get people connected, brain body connected. So that's what, we've been doing for almost 40 years now.
Yeah.
And I have the pleasure of growing up through all of it with my dad. And yeah, our ultimate goal is just make this, first of all, our city, then our state, then our country, and this world a healthier place, drug-free, free from surgeries, and just better mindsets too. Because I know you talk about the life in the clinic. It's always happy because you got to. You got to be joyful and positive, because that also brings healing too.
Yeah, that's you got to bring the right perspective to stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
So,
sure. Go ahead. Go ahead, Marco.
No, I was just gonna say, we're located in the Chicagoland suburbs. One in the northwest suburb and one in the southwest suburb. Our practice is called Total Life Chiropractic. And by the way, again, I'm going to reiterate this: chiropractic is about health. The first ever chiropractic adjustment was for a gentleman named Harvey Lillard, who suffered from hearing loss. It wasn't for he had neck pain. It wasn't for he had back pain. He was suffering with a neurological issue that was corrected with chiropractic care. So we've been getting influxes of patients with anxiety, depression, gastric reflux, intestinal issues, can't sleep, can't focus, ADD, all these different things. And it's getting better, drug-free, no surgery, no nothing, just by reconnecting the brain and body. So if anyone is really interested in finding a chiropractor, I know you guys got people probably all over the country listening to you.
Yeah.
My email is dr.marco@tlcdoc.com. And if you guys want me, any of your listeners, anyone, I'll find someone, a chiropractor, if they're not in Illinois. Someone that will,
Appreciate you.
Awesome. Is that TLC.DLC you said?
The TLCDOC.com.
DLC. Got you.
And yeah, because I'm a big believer and advocate that everyone should be seeing a chiropractor. Yeah. So,
Marco, it's made a huge difference on my life, not only from a physical perspective, but from a mental perspective. I know myself, I was in a pretty dark place there when I first started coming in, and you guys over at TLC, I've told you multiple times, have really changed my life. So going back to our mantra, if you can impact one life, let's go from there. And I appreciate you guys, the family over at TLC. And that's when we started picking out guests. You were someone that came to mind. So thank you for all you do for athletes and people across the country. Before we let you get out of here, I got to ask you, you're in this great profession now. If you could tell your younger self one thing, man, what'd you tell him?
Oh my.
This one stumps some people.
Every time. Be patient. Be patient. I mean,
beautiful.
Even now, when whether it was being patient with my soccer career or being patient now and seeing people, healing takes time with patience. Be patient with people and be patient with yourself. It will happen.
Hey, KISS, baby. That's going, KISS right there.
Just
keep it simple. Keep it simple.
I love it. Hey, and our listeners, in an instant gratification society, listen to a guy like Marco. It's refreshing. It's authentic. And Marco, I couldn't speak highly of you, man. More highly of you. Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you guys. Seriously.
Marco, thanks, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Luke, anything to wrap up with Marco before we let him get out of here?
No, I love it, man. We're gonna hit him up in the bio. You'll have all his contact information, all his socials, and we'll get him shot out to you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. TLC family, we appreciate you. Marco, go pick your girl up from the airport and have a great rest.
I will.
Awesome.
Thanks. See you, Marco.
Peace.
Yeah.
Guys, with that, before we get into our social media shout out this week, we're going to do a simple ad read. We had CNC on last week. Again, first hockey player. We appreciate the love and the support from the hockey community and from the people that know CNC that jumped on to listen. We love y'all. So we got to shout her out again. Homegrown Design and Homegrown Apparel. Homegrown Design, if you haven't seen their stuff, hopefully we can get that in the show notes, but they do, dining tables as long as 10 feet. They do a lot of smaller epoxy pours. So really beautiful stuff they do over there. Is it CNC and BNC?
Oh, it is. Breathe.
Oh yeah, baby, right here off the top right there. But you guys got to check them out. They're doing some beautiful stuff. It's a small business, and we want to support that as well. So Pat, bring us into the social media shout out.
I can certainly do that. Once again, thanks to CNC and BNC and the whole hockey community. We love how tight knit y'all are. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
The social media this week, we wanted to highlight an article from earlier on this fall. Tom Brady, greatest quarterback of all time, actually for the second time, Michael Jordan style, retired this past week. Luke, I know that I was not expecting that this time around. I don't know about you.
He's getting older, man. He's getting older. Life's changing. Body's getting, and then the TB12 method. So maybe the body's not degenerating. I don't know. He could live to be 200, but everybody's got a time limit in football,
Well, and this takes me to my next point. They talked about when Brady was going through everything, with Giselle and his football career and his family. He went to therapy. He tried things outside of football to get him back. And we wanted to highlight that this week, just based on the fact that, one, shout out one of the greatest NFL players of all time. And two, understand that if Tom Brady could make time to talk to someone, you guys can too.
Yeah.
We are a pro therapy podcast. Yeah.
Probably has one of the most busiest schedules in the world. He makes, I can't even imagine how much money that guy makes in a year. Him and his wife are going through some things, or him and his ex-wife are going through some things. So I'm sure that's on his mind while he's playing. So if he has to, one of the greatest football players of all time, highest earners of all time, things like that, then again, who are we to say that we're above that? So
exactly. It makes us all feel like equal humans in that sense, because at the end of the day, we're more than just athletes. Talk to a professional, talk to a friend, a significant other, a family member. The only way we're going to be able to end the stigma is by making sure that we talk about it and we can be vulnerable with each other. And Luke, I think that's a great point. I'm glad we picked that story this week, man. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Good find for you, Pat. Good find.
Awesome. Always. So unfortunately, no Ask Luke Reed segment this week.
Hit me with some questions. Hit me with some questions, boys. Come on.
All right. So just to make sure that we're not missing anybody, I'm going to give everyone an excuse, a mulligan for the first episode we did. If you don't know where to send your questions, you can make sure to DM at the KG Podcast on Instagram, or our email, Luke, anonymously, if you want to say that email.
Yeah, let me get that pulled up here. I can never remember exactly what it is. Keep Going Pod. So KEEPGOINGPOD@gmail.com, guys.
Keep Going Pod @gmail.com. They can be anonymously. They can be specific, friends.
Yeah,
family.
don't feel like we got to blow your spot up if you want to ask questions.
No,
okay?
And Luke, you did a great job last week with the questions. So we want to keep doing this. So feel free to send those in. Before we do wrap up, we want to touch a little bit on next week. Luke, Super Bowl Sunday. Who do you got in the big game next Sunday?
I've been thinking about this, and I'm pretty heavily influenced by the Part of My Take podcast at this point with my take on football. Yep. I got to ride with Big Cat and PMT on the Eagles. I love Patty Mahomes. My dad's a Chiefs fan. Sorry, Dad. I got to go with Hurts. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. I'd have to agree. Seeing the Eagles play earlier this year on my birthday, it'd be very tough to not pick them. They gave our Chicago Bears a tough little time.
Yeah, we won't dive into that.
It ruined my whole birthday.
But
so, just kidding. But
dude, I got a story on this one. So we had J terms in college, right? You know what J terms are?
Of course. So
January, right, guys? So any guys that are looking to go to college next year, some of your universities or colleges may have May or J terms, which is a single month where you do one class every day for a couple hours a day. I did chemistry for a J term one time, and our professor's name was Dr. Savage.
Sounds like Savage. Okay.
He was. And the most savage thing he did was whenever the Eagles beat the Hawks in the playoffs, and we had a huge Hawks fan in our class. He walks in at 7:30 in the morning playing the Eagles theme song in a Letterman jacket, Eagle style jacket, and just is like flaunting it in front of him. And it was perfect because it was Gavin Dooley. You don't know him, but it's Jake P knows him. He's played baseball at Maryville College. And he can give the most crap, but he can also take it back. So it was just a great moment.
No, for sure. And everyone's always got those connections to their teams and those periods of time. And
I can't get that out of my head. So I just got to go Eagles. I'm just domination in my head.
I'm going to go with Eagles as well. We are a now pro Eagles podcast looking at the big game.
It looks like it. Yeah.
I guess so. But why I brought it up is we're going to be shooting a little bit earlier on Sunday. We'll get the episode out at some point in the afternoon, hopefully before the big game. So look out for that on our socials. But we got Zach Gale coming on. And
yeah, meet a wee.
Oh, meet a wee legend. Great dude. Super sweet guy. And also former college ball player at Judson University. So we're fired up. And Luke, I guess the last thing, we'll do our charity shout out here. You want to give this a rip or me?
You go ahead. You got it.
I'm going to try my best here. So we actually are promoting our charity of the week this week. And let me go ahead and slide on down. So give me 1 second. So it's going to be for the female reproductive cancer awareness. I'm going to try with the word gynecological cancer.
You got it.
Pop Store. They're doing popcorn. It's going off to a great cause. We're going to put that link in the show notes. A bunch of great ladies over at Below the Waist making a big time interest in Luke. Popcorn for the big game? Are you kidding?
Come on now. Shout out Below the Waist and shout out anybody that's going to donate to them from our team and our crew. I'll be throwing a little bit that way. Guys, just $5, man. It makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Grab some popcorn for the big game. Get your popcorn ready in the Eagles theme, like T.O. used to always say. And Luke, above all else, man, keep going, all right?
Keep going, baby.